What if I told you you are not just living in 3 dimensions? Right now, as you sit still, your body may be moving through dimensions you cannot see. Physics suggests the universe may have more directions than up, down, left, or right. Hidden dimensions, folded so tightly they pass through you every second without leaving a trace. This idea is called hyperspace. Not science fiction, not imagination, but a real attempt to explain why gravity is weak, why particles behave strangely, and why reality feels deeper than it looks. So here's the question. If these dimensions exist, and you are inside them right now, are they truly lost, or are they waiting for the moment we finally learn how to notice them? Or are they waiting for the moment we finally learn how to notice them? If this question lingers in your mind, and quiet journeys through space help you slow down, you're in the right place. You're welcome to subscribe. A gentle like helps this channel grow, and sharing it may invite someone else into this calm curiosity. Now, let's gently drift forward. Not with urgency, not with answers clenched too tightly, but with curiosity that moves slowly, like light traveling through a silent void. Tonight, we are not racing toward the edge of the universe. We are sinking inward, into questions that have always been around us, yet rarely felt. Because for centuries, human beings believed reality was simple. 3 directions, up and down, left and right, forward and back, length, width, height. 3 dimensions, solid, complete, enough. And time. Time was treated as something separate, a ticking backdrop, a silent observer.
But nature has never promised simplicity. Even now, as you rest and listen, your body exists in 3 dimensions, yet the forces shaping you do not. Gravity pulls without touching. Magnetism acts across emptiness. Particles appear, vanish, and reappear somewhere else, as if space itself briefly forgot its own rules. So we begin with a quiet realization. What if the universe has more dimensions than we were ever meant to sense?
Not distant galaxies, not unreachable stars, but dimensions, folded tightly into the fabric of reality itself. Hidden, not because they are far away, but because our senses were never built to move through them. Imagine standing on a long, thin rope. From a distance, the rope looks like a single line, 1 dimension, forward and back.
But step closer. You notice width. You notice texture. Tiny fibers twisting together. The rope was never one-dimensional. It only appeared that way from far enough away. Now imagine something similar, but on a scale so small, so tightly curled, that even our most powerful instruments can only infer its presence. This is not poetry. This is not fantasy. This is how modern physics carefully describes extra dimensions.
In theories that attempt to unify nature, like string theory, the universe may require additional dimensions to mathematically exist at all. Not 2, not 3, but 10 or 11, depending on the framework. These dimensions are not elsewhere. They are here, wrapped, curled, compressed into scales smaller than atoms, so small that moving through them would require energies far beyond anything we can currently produce. And yet, their influence may be everywhere. Because the behavior of particles, their masses, their charges, their interactions, may be shaped by the geometry of these unseen dimensions. Reality may be deeper than it looks. But before we go further, we need to slow down, because words like dimension are often misunderstood. A dimension is not a place. It is not a world. It is not a parallel universe. A dimension is a direction, a way something can move. In one dimension, you can move only forward or backward. In 2, you add left and right. In 3, up and down. Each new dimension adds freedom, more ways to exist. And here is where the question quietly returns. If higher dimensions exist, what kind of freedom do they allow? And more importantly, what kind of limits do they impose on us? Because the universe we experience may be only a shadow of a richer structure beneath. Like a flat shadow cast by a three-dimensional object, we might be seeing only the projection of something far more complex. A reality reduced by perception. Our eyes evolved to catch light, not truth. Our brains evolved to survive, not to map higher dimensional geometry. We feel space as open and continuous, yet on the smallest scales, it may be folded like origami, complex, hidden, precise. This doesn't mean there are creatures hiding between dimensions. It doesn't mean gateways or shortcuts through space. Science does not claim that. What it does suggest, very carefully, is that the universe may have more structure than our senses reveal. And that structure matters. Because without extra dimensions, some of our most successful equations simply fall apart. They stop working. The universe, as written on paper, refuses to exist. So physicists listen. They adjust. They explore mathematical spaces that feel unfamiliar but elegant. And slowly, the idea emerges. What we call hyperspace is not a destination, but a deeper description. A way of saying reality has layers. Not stacked like floors in a building, but woven, intertwined, present everywhere at once. And yet, you have never noticed them. Not because you are missing something, but because you were never meant to. Just as a fish does not feel the water as an object, we do not feel the full structure of space as something separate. It simply is. And as you breathe gently now, as your thoughts begin to slow, it's worth sitting with this idea. The universe may be vast, not only outward, but inward. Depth upon depth, direction upon direction. And somewhere within that depth, questions wait patiently, not demanding answers, not rushing discovery, just waiting.
For the moment, we learn how to notice what has always been there.
And yet, you have never noticed them. Not because you are missing something, but because you were never meant to. Just as a fish does not feel the water as an object, we do not feel the full structure of space as something separate. Human perception is not a window to reality. It is a filter. Your eyes capture a narrow slice of light. Your ears translate pressure into sound. Your skin feels vibration, not structure. And your brain simplifies everything. Not because it wants to deceive you, but because complexity is expensive. Too much information would overwhelm survival. So evolution made a compromise. See only what matters. Ignore the rest. This is why a table feels solid, even though it is mostly empty space. This is why time feels smooth, even though physics suggest it may be granular. And this is why extra dimensions, if they exist, remain unnoticed. They are not hidden behind walls. They are hidden behind relevance. Consider again the rope. From far away, it is a line. Only when you are close enough to interact with its thickness, does another dimension reveal itself. Now imagine a being that could never approach the rope. No matter how advanced its vision, no matter how sharp its mind, the rope would always appear one-dimensional. Not because the rope lacks depth, but because the observer lacks access. This is how physicists describe our relationship to higher dimensions. We are not blind, we are constrained. Our particles move freely through 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. But if additional dimensions exist, they may be compactified, curled up so tightly that motion through them is effectively impossible for anything as large as an atom. Only the smallest ingredients of reality, vibrating strings, quantum fields, may interact with these hidden directions. And their motion there may determine everything we observe here. Mass, charge, spin. Properties that feel fundamental may actually be shadows of higher dimensional geometry. This idea feels abstract, but it is surprisingly practical, because physics has a problem. 2 of its greatest achievements, general relativity and quantum mechanics, do not agree. One describes gravity and large-scale structure. The other governs particles and probabilities. Both are accurate, but they refuse to merge. Unless the universe has more dimensions than we experience. Extra dimensions allow gravity to spread out, to weaken as it moves through hidden space. This could explain why gravity is so much weaker than other forces. Not because it is inferior, but because it is diluted, leaking into places we cannot follow. This does not mean gravity disappears elsewhere. It means we only feel a fraction of it, a shadow cast from a higher dimensional whole. This is where the concept of hyperspace gains its scientific meaning. Hyperspace is not faster than light travel. It is not a shortcut between stars. It is a mathematical space where all possible dimensions are accounted for. A complete description of reality, even when that reality cannot be fully sensed.
In hyperspace, objects are not just located. They are oriented across dimensions we cannot perceive. Their behavior here is influenced by structure there. And this influence is subtle. You will never wake up and suddenly feel a new direction. No hidden axis will reveal itself through sensation. Instead, the clues appear in equations, in particle accelerators, in cosmic patterns.
Physicists search for tiny deviations, unexpected energies, missing momentum, symmetries that almost, but not quite, hold. These anomalies may hint at dimensions beyond. Not proof, hence. Because science is careful. It does not declare what it cannot test. It follows evidence slowly, sometimes reluctantly. And so far, no experiment has directly confirmed extra dimensions. But the idea persists, not because it is fashionable, but because it solves problems nothing else can. Still, there is an important boundary we must respect. Extra dimensions do not mean parallel universes. They do not imply other versions of you living beside this one. Those ideas belong to different theories. Higher dimensions are about structure, not duplication, about geometry, not alternate lives, and this distinction matters. Because when imagination outruns evidence, clarity dissolves. So we remain grounded, curious, but careful. And yet, even within this careful framework, something remarkable remains true. Reality may be richer than experience. The universe may be quietly multidimensional, without spectacle, without announcement. And consciousness, your awareness, may be navigating only a narrow corridor through a much larger space. Not because something is wrong, but because this corridor is all you need to exist. As you rest now, as your thoughts soften, consider this gently. The limitations you feel, the boundaries of perception, may not be walls, they may be design. A way to move through reality without being overwhelmed by everything at once. And somewhere beyond those limits, the full architecture of the universe remains intact. Silent, precise, patient, waiting. Not to be discovered, but to be inferred. And as that quiet space continues, the question no longer feels distant. If hyperspace is real as a mathematical structure, then something subtle follows. It means the universe is not only stranger than we imagine, it may be stranger than we are capable of imagining. Because the moment we move beyond 3 dimensions, intuition breaks. In higher dimensions, shapes behave differently. Connections form in ways that feel impossible from within limited space. Take a simple example. A 2-dimensional being living on a flat surface could never fully understand a cube. They could see only slices, a square that grows, then shrinks, then disappears. To them, the cube would feel like a mystery, not because it is unknowable, but because it exists partly outside their reality. Now turn that perspective inward. What kinds of structures might pass through our 3-dimensional space, leaving behind effects without ever revealing their full form? Not objects, not beings, but influences, patterns, constraints. This is where hyperspace becomes more than geometry. It becomes context. In higher dimensional physics, what we observe may be only cross-sections of a deeper process. Particles appearing and disappearing, quantum uncertainty, non-local connections. These may not be violations of reality, but signs that reality extends beyond what we directly experience. This doesn't mean everything mysterious is explained by dimensions. Science does not use hyperspace as a universal answer, but it offers a lens, a way to explore possibilities without abandoning rigor. In some models, the universe itself is embedded in a higher dimensional space, not floating, but constrained, like a surface stretched taut. This idea is called a brane. In these models, all familiar forces, electromagnetism, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, are confined to this brane. They cannot leave. Gravity, however, may not be so restricted. It may move freely through the higher dimensional bulk. Again, this is not proven, but it is consistent, because it suggests a universe where we are not isolated, but localized, where everything we know exists on a thin slice of a much larger reality, not trapped, just situated. And this framing changes how we think about scale, because higher dimensions do not require larger spaces, they require different directions. A universe can be vast and still be embedded within something richer. This does not diminish our reality. It contextualizes it. Just as the surface of Earth is not the whole planet, yet still supports everything we know. As you listen now, notice how your mind responds. There may be a gentle tension, a sense of expansion, followed by uncertainty. That uncertainty is natural. Higher dimensions resist visualization. They are felt conceptually, not seen. And that is why mathematics becomes essential. Equations do not rely on imagination. They rely on consistency. When physicists explore hyperspace, they are not guessing blindly. They are following constraints, symmetries, logical necessity. If the math demands extra dimensions, they listen, not because they want complexity, but because simplicity has failed. This is a key idea. Extra dimensions are not added to make theories exotic. They are added because without them, the equations break. And broken equations do not describe reality. So hyperspace emerges not as fantasy, but as necessity. Still, necessity does not equal truth. The universe is not obligated to align with our theories. And so the search continues. Particle accelerators probe deeper energies. Cosmologists study the early universe. Subtle patterns are examined again and again, looking for deviations, whispers, asymmetries, not fireworks, because higher dimensions, if they exist, are quiet. They do not announce themselves. They influence gently, through structure, through limitation. And this brings us to a softer realization. The universe may not reveal itself through dramatic discovery. It may reveal itself through patience, through careful listening, through humility. As you drift further into this calm, it's worth remembering, human understanding has always expanded by accepting its own limits. We once thought Earth was the center. We once thought time was absolute. We once thought space was empty. Each time, reality was deeper, not hostile, just broader. Higher dimensions fit this pattern. They do not threaten meaning, they enrich it. They suggest that existence is layered, not shallow, and that what feels complete may simply be sufficient for now. As your breathing slows, as the edges of thought soften, let this idea rest gently. You are not missing reality. You are participating in it from a particular perspective. A perspective shaped by survival, by biology, by evolution. And beyond that perspective, the universe continues, structured, consistent, and quietly vast. And within that quiet openness, another layer gently appears. Because once we accept that reality may have more dimensions than we can perceive, a different kind of question emerges. Not about space, but about experience. If higher dimensions shape the universe, why does consciousness feel so tightly bound to this narrow slice of reality? Why do we experience this version of the universe and not something broader? Science approaches this carefully. There is no evidence that human consciousness accesses higher dimensions. No experiment suggests the mind can leave space-time or move through hyperspace. And it's important to say this clearly. But there is something worth noticing. Consciousness does not experience reality directly. It experiences a model. Your brain constructs a world from incomplete data in real time. Colors are interpretations. Sounds are translations. Even the sense of now is slightly delayed. What you experience is already a reconstruction, a simplified interface. Not reality itself, but a usable version of it. And this means something subtle. Even within known physics, experience is already reduced, already filtered. So when people wonder whether higher dimensions could ever be felt, the answer is gentle but firm. Not felt, but reflected. If extra dimensions exist, they would not appear as new sensations. They would appear as constraints on what is possible, as boundaries, as rules that quietly govern how matter and energy unfold. Just as you do not feel gravity directly, you feel its effects. Just as you do not sense space-time curvature, you feel weight and motion. Higher dimensions, if real, would influence existence without announcing themselves. And this perspective matters because it keeps us grounded. It reminds us that mystery does not require mysticism. Depth does not require magic. The universe can be astonishing while remaining lawful. As you rest now, let go of the idea that understanding means access. Understanding often means acceptance. Acceptance that some structures are fundamental, even if they are never experienced firsthand. This is not a limitation of intelligence. It is a feature of existence. Every observer is embedded within the system they observe. No perspective is complete, not even this one. And yet, this does not diminish meaning. It reframes it, because if reality is layered, then meaning is contextual. What matters here matters there. Both can be true without contradiction. There is a quiet humility in this realization. The universe does not revolve around perception. Perception is simply one way the universe becomes aware of itself. Briefly, locally, imperfectly. And perhaps that is enough. As your breathing deepens, notice how these ideas do not demand belief.
They invite reflection. They do not promise revelation. They offer perspective. The universe may never fully open itself to any single observer, but it does not hide in hostility. It simply exists, according to structure that is larger than experience. And somewhere within that structure, you are present, not as a center, but as a participant. A moment where matter organizes itself into awareness, briefly capable of wondering about dimensions it will never traverse. And that wonder, quiet, unforced, may be one of the most real things that exists. And from that long, quiet drift, there is no need to rush back, because some journeys are not meant to arrive. They are meant to soften. If the universe truly holds more dimensions than we can sense, then the deepest truth may be this:
Nothing is missing. Reality is not incomplete because we experience only part of it. A book is not incomplete because you are reading one page at a time. Meaning does not require total access. It requires presence. The universe may be vast beyond imagining, layered with directions we will never move through, structures we will never touch, dimensions we will never feel. And still, this moment exists. Your breath exists. This awareness exists.
And that is not trivial, because even within all its complexity, the universe allows pockets of stillness, places where nothing needs to be proven, nothing needs to be solved. The equations can remain open. The questions can remain unanswered. Hyperspace does not demand belief. Extra dimensions do not ask for faith. They simply suggest that reality is deeper than appearances, and depth does not threaten calm. It supports it. As your thoughts slow further now, notice how curiosity can become gentle. It no longer pulls forward. It settles, like dust in a quiet room. The universe continues to unfold with or without observation. Stars burn, particles interact, space curves. And if hidden dimensions exist, they continue to shape existence silently, consistently, without concern for recognition. This is not indifference. It is stability, the kind of stability that allows life to rest, that allows awareness to drift without fear of missing something essential.
Because nothing essential is ever withheld. It is simply scaled. Some truths belong to equations. Some belong to experience. Some belong to silence. And silence, too, is a form of understanding.
As you remain here now, at the edge between thought and rest, let the idea of hyperspace fade into background texture. Not as a mystery to solve, but as a reminder that reality is larger than urgency, that existence does not require constant interpretation, and that it is possible to be fully present within a partial view.
If there are dimensions beyond this one, they are not waiting for discovery. They are already complete. And you are already exactly where you need to be. Breathing, listening, existing. No need to reach outward. No need to imagine further. The universe will continue whether you think about it or not. So for now, you can rest.